Can't wait. How great was that open, Rick? I am ready to roll. And you look at Big Ten wrestling, another phenomenal season. I always think it can't get better. And every year it keeps getting a little bit better. Opening weekend in the Big Ten Conference, and it was crazy. Some upsets, we'll talk about those. Some good, hard, gritty top wrestling, some mat returns, maybe one or two of those. Going to be a great show.
Yeah, I've been informed you like a mat return every now and then. It'll be one of the main focuses of this show. We'll also speak with a Big Ten wrestler every single week. This week, our debut guest, Michael Kemerer. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But we start with weekly Big Ten wrestling and beyond headlines. Kemerer, part of a dominant weekend for Iowa, stayed undefeated. Drake Ayala, a really important add to this team. Remember, Spencer Lee gone at 125. Ayala comes back, actually beats Devin Schroeder, top 5 guy from Purdue, on Sunday as Iowa stays unbeaten with 2 Big Ten dual wins over the weekend. First Minnesota and then Purdue.
And Drake Ayala was phenomenal. Devin Schroeder ranked 5th in the country, 2-time Big Ten finals. They always say a rider. He was able to do that. And how about the addition for Penn State, Drew Hildebrandt at 125 pounds. He's a great addition. Penn State winning a couple duels without Nick Lee or Roman Bravo Young, but still all kinds of talent for the Nittany Lions.
Now, Purdue may have lost on Sunday to Iowa. Still a good weekend for the Boilermakers because they knocked off Nebraska on Friday. It was the first dual win against a top 10 opponent since 2004. A couple of the upsets, Garrett Ninehouse over Mikey Labriola at 174. Max Lyon beat Taylor Venz at 184. Say what you will, Nebraska was not with a full roster, still something to build on for the Boilermakers.
One team that impressed me this weekend, the Wisconsin Badgers. A big year for Wisconsin. It's Chris Bono's 4th year. It's a moving year for Wisconsin, and they had 2 victories. They beat Northwestern on Friday night, then Rutgers yesterday. That was the first loss to the Scarlet Knights. Austin Gomez had a great weekend at 149. And how about Dean Hamady at 165, one of the sensational freshmen in the Big Ten?
How about the weekend that Michael D'Agostino of Northwestern had, beating Eric Barnett of Wisconsin and Pat McKee, both by decision. How about 2 wins in one weekend over top 7 opposition? D'Agostino, without question, going to be moving up those rankings in that weight class, a tough weight class, not just in the Big Ten, but nationally. So those are some of the headlines. What are your big picture takeaways from week 1 in those duels?
It's what you just talked about. 125 pounds. You take Spencer Lee out, Drake Ayala in, mentioned Drew Hildebrandt from Penn State in the mix, Nick Soriano of Michigan. 125 is crazy. A lot of upsets. These guys just beat people up. So every single weekend is big for seeding purposes, not only at the Big Ten championships, but at the NCAA tournament. 125 to me is one of the funnest weight classes in the country. It might not have the credential talent as a heavyweight or a 141, but put these guys all in the mix. Should be a lot of fun. That stood out to me this weekend.
I'm also interested to see how these teams deal with roster changes because, Shane, it's the world we're living in. We saw it with Nebraska this weekend. We're going to see it with teams throughout the year. It's very rare you're going to have your top 10 guys ready every weekend.
And that's why I would say this, Rick. Sports are a circumstance of the day, maybe the hour, maybe the minute. Never apologizing for winning. You beat who is across the line from you, and you don't apologize for it.
Well, let's start with Iowa because at the beginning of the year, we just expect Spencer Lee to get major decisions, tech falls each and every time. Now Spencer Lee's out of the lineup. Drake Ayala is back and had a tough matchup and loses on Friday, but comes back to beat Schroeder on Sunday. How big is that addition, and what does he do if he's able to wrestle like that for a team whose, listen, their aspirations are not just Big Ten championships. Their aspiration is to win it all at the end of the year.
3-time state champion from Fort Dodge, Iowa. He brought me off my couch last week. 3rd place match at the Southern Scuffle. He's down 7-0 against Noah Certain, who was then ranked 12th in the country from Missouri. He takes him down 4 times. He turns him twice. He wins 14-10. Battles McKee on Friday. Tough loss. McKee's beaten him 3 times, but a short memory. Kid just turned 19 years old in October. Wrestles Devin Schroeder yesterday, rides him for over 3 minutes. I think this kid's got a huge future. He never stops wrestling. I saw something on social media. It said, no breaks Drake. I love it because this guy is pedal to the metal, and he's going to be a fan favorite in Iowa City. They love him already.
And Iowa wins both matches, but you saw a couple of wrestlers come off the mat between Friday and Sunday, whether it was Marinelli on Friday or Austin DeSanto, kind of shaking their head as if they didn't give their best, but still got wins top to bottom. This team is so nasty and so dangerous. You're surprised, not even if they win, but if they don't win dramatically each and every match.
Yeah, and on Friday night, they beat Minnesota 22-10, and they won the match, but it wasn't that Iowa style. They didn't finish matches the way Tom Brands wanted to see, but they still got it done, and then they followed it up yesterday against Purdue. I think it was 4 or 5 bonus point victories. Of course, Cassiopeia pinned and put a cherry on top. They're very, very good, but they haven't wrestled here in a couple of weeks. It's a long season. Hawkeyes will be all right.
So we mentioned the Minnesota match, the duel on Friday night, and one of the highlights there, even though the Gophers lost and lost handily, was seeing Gable Steveson back in duel action. And after his win over Tony Cassiopeia, now Cassiopeia got 7 points. Most of them were the giveaway escape variety from Steveson, who just completely dominated this match. But I thought the most interesting part of the match was after it was all over. He walks off the mat at Carver Hawkeye, and the Iowa crowd is giving the visiting wrestler a standing ovation. Now, to Stevenson's credit, sends them a heart, a kiss to say thank you, I appreciate the support. It just shows you how respected this guy is in the wrestling community as maybe we can make the argument, the greatest heavyweight college wrestler of all time.
Throw the brick in. Throw the brick in.
You're disagreeing with that?
Gonna disagree with this. Absolutely. Challenging this. Don't say maybe, Rick. Okay, I'm very careful in making predictions because, let's be honest, more often than not, they blow up in your face. Yep. I'm going to challenge this. Make no ifs, ands, buts about it. Gable Steveson is, capital I, capital S, all caps, the greatest of all time at heavyweight. He's one of the greatest college wrestlers of all time in any weight. But at heavyweight, no doubt about it, the greatest of all time. This is a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
He loses twice to Anthony Cassar as a youngster in the Big Tens and in the semifinals of the NCAA. Hasn't lost since, truthfully, hasn't really been tested since. I mean, Tony Cassiopeia, one of the best heavyweights in the country. Mason Parris, last couple of years. Everybody wanted to build the rivalry. Steveson made it not a rivalry because he dominated each and every time. So impressive. By the way, here's the brick. We're able to throw it each and every time. I thought Shane was going to disagree with me. He actually agreed so much that we had to get the brick out of the set.
And they just made the call. Call is confirmed. I win the challenge. Gable Steveson, greatest heavyweight of all time.
All right, so there's no question Iowa, Penn State are the top 2 teams, not just in the Big Ten, but the top 2 teams in the country. But Michigan is right there. So, Shane, the question is, how much separation really is there between Iowa, Penn State, and then Michigan? Or do they deserve to be in that same category with the Hawkeyes and Nittany Lions?
I would put Michigan in that category, but maybe slightly below. They got to figure some things out. This last weekend, we saw Stevan Micic, 2-time Big Ten champion, national finalist a few years back, but he's up to 141. That's a pretty big boost. He lost over the weekend yesterday at Pitt. That's a weight class to keep an eye on, but they have so much experience, Rick. They're led by 2 Olympians. Miles Amin, Big Ten champion, last year at 197, now down to 184. I think that's a better weight class for him. I mentioned Micic, an Olympian for Serbia. Patrick Brucky comes over, an All-American from Princeton. Mentioned Nick Soriano, national champion at 133 a couple years ago. Now he's down to 125 pounds. This team is stacked. Cam Amin's an All-American at 165. Logan Mass is coming back, an All-American at 174. With Michigan, and you can make this case when you look at Iowa, Penn State, some of the other schools outside the conference, it's a few weight classes. For Michigan, what are they going to get at 149, 157? Those are big weight classes. 133, you got to score points there. That'll be the difference in March.
You want to be the champ? You got to beat the champ. Everybody in the Big Ten, everybody in the country knows that is the mantra for the rest of the year.
Segment of the show. I've been looking forward to this, licking my chops all week when I heard about this segment. Mat returns are a mentality. I love takedowns. I like slickness. I like that. But I appreciate, as we saw in some of those tweets, good, tough wrestling. So 4 mat returns that we're going to show you. And again, want to remind you, you can send your mat returns into us on Instagram, hashtag B1G mat returns. I want to see your mat returns. Let's start with number 4. We got twin sisters in Michigan, about 10 years old. It's a mentality, and you have got to learn early. And I love seeing this good, powerful return.
On sister
well done.
crime.
Absolutely. Garrett Model of Wisconsin. Final 20 seconds. Up by 2. You want to finish those periods on top. Sometimes it's going to take 1, 2, 3 mat returns. You look at the riding time there for Model. Going to take it up over a minute. Going to close that first period on top. Lots of love about that. Garrett Model, 1-time state champion from Stoughton, Wisconsin. He is one of Chris Bono's grittiest wrestlers. Good job right there with the elevation. Slams him down to the mat. If you've ever been into the old barn in Madison, the acoustics in that place, I will guarantee that place was shaken up. This guy right here, Dean Hamady, this is even better yet. You're up 2-0 in the first period. You want to finish a period up 2-0. Big difference between 2-0 and 2-1. You've got to get greedy right there, and that's what Hamady does. Look at that technique. He is so fluid. This guy at 165 pounds. He's a freshman from Illinois in that Badger singlet. He's been a lot of fun to watch. Another great week and picked up a couple of wins in Madison as the Badgers won both duels. Maybe the craziest match of the weekend, Michael D'Agostino and Patrick McKee. D'Agostino was down 6-2. He turns McKee. Final 30 seconds. This is not one of those booming mat returns, but he finishes the period on top, takes McKee from his feet to the mat, had that locked hands call, but at the end of the day, doesn't matter. He hangs on. Look at that celebration. You ought to be excited. Exactly. That's a big win at 125 pounds. And number one, how about Abe Assad from Iowa? It's 11-4. He's got riding time secured, so he's in position for the major decision. He's got 15 seconds. Can he finish it on top and get that major decision? Sam Skillings of Minnesota, one final effort to his feet. Look at Assad, the commitment. Oh, yeah! Watch the crowd. Look at the crowd. That Iowa crowd, they appreciate the good, hard wrestling. Abe Assad, fantastic job. He had a great weekend, too. On Friday night in that win against Minnesota, he had the Hawkeyes' only bonus point victory. Abe Assad, he's got the great hair. I love that. And I just love the grit and the toughness. He is our inaugural winner of the Man Return of the Week.
And look at this that we have for your weekly winner. And that's a pretty solid bobblehead, Shane Sparks.
That's fantastic. Man Return of the Week. Abe Assad, you're going to get one of these. And Abe, here's what I'm going to tell you. When you leave your place and you're going to practice or you're getting ready for a big match, you think about this bobblehead. Put it by your door. Let it be a final reminder. And then when you're in a match, maybe 15 seconds left, as you're walking back to the center and you need one or two more mat returns, you think about this guy. You get it done. Congratulations,
Abe Assad. You know anybody that can get me one of those?
Maybe. We might have some connections here. I'm in a full lather right now. Heart speeding. I love it.
If it requires me getting a mat return on you, I think I'm in trouble.
And the reason this Hawkeye crowd is on their feet is because of that man. For the first time this season, the Hawkeye fans getting a look at Michael Kemerer.
Carver Hawkeye just exploded when our next guest, 174-pound All-American Michael Kemerer, made his way out of the tunnel and back onto the mat for the Hawkeyes this year. Now, Michael, I know you've been greeted by that crowd a lot through your career, but this one was after a long wait. What did that feel like on Friday night?
Yeah, it feels awesome, and coming out of that tunnel is something that never gets old, and especially after that long wait, not having fans in there last year. Coming through that tunnel, hearing my song play and feeling the energy of the crowd, there's nothing like it.
What did you think of your performance in your first match back?
I felt good. Got to my takedowns, good rides, got out on bottoms, so felt good. I mean, there's always room for improvement. I was looking to get some bonus points, didn't get bonus points in that match, so but felt good. Good first match back, and just kind of building from there.
Had a little bit of extra support with that shoulder strap on. How did it feel to wrestle with that? How close do you feel like you are to being back at full strength?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, that's something that you kind of, used to wrestling with that in practice and getting the feel for that. But I feel good. I feel strong, and I feel like me and the rest of the team. I feel like every time out, we're going to get better and better.
Certainly looked like your old self on Friday night. Sunday as well, you follow up the decision with another win on Sunday. As for you, you started school wrestling in the 140s. Now you're up to 174. How did that transition take place? Because for most guys, that's simply an impossibility.
Yeah, well, I mean, for one thing, I love to eat, so that kind of helps me there. And I don't know, it's just kind of letting my body grow and develop. I knew coming into college that, my dad, he kind of grew through college, so I knew that was a possibility. He's a bigger guy, and just didn't really fight it, in the off season, hit the weights hard and focus on wrestling and kind of listen to my body. And, I felt good moving up in weights and it's kind of funny the different guys I've gotten to wrestle throughout my career because of all the different weight classes I've been at.
Yeah, one of the few guys in the history of the sport to win All-American at all of these different weight classes. For Iowa, whether it's you, whether it's anybody that wrestles for the Hawkeyes, the expectations are unlike any place else. Losses just happen in sports, but you guys are expected individually and as a team to win every duel, every Big Ten championship, every national championship. How is the pressure like wrestling for Iowa?
Yeah, I mean, I think the pressure is what you make it, but we know when we decide to come to Iowa, we know the standard, and that's part of what makes it so great. And we have that friendly competition where we're pushing each other to be better and to put up points out there. So it's awesome, and you can feel that energy when you're out on the mat in that arena. You feel the fans; they want to see points, they want to see excitement, and when you give that to them, it's pretty rewarding.
Whether it's you, whether it's Alex Marinelli, whether it's Austin DeSanto, in the past it had been Spencer Lee. I mean, you guys were almost guaranteed points earners for this team. Then you learn that Spencer's deciding to have season-ending surgery and won't wrestle for the rest of this year. How did the team deal with that news?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we feel for Spencer. He's a great wrestler, a great competitor, and, these things happen. And, the best thing we can do for Spencer Lee is go out and compete and put our best foot forward. And, we got Drake Ayala in there now, and, we got to be strong at 10 weights. We got to step up, and, we don't look at that as pressure. We look at that as an opportunity. I mean, people maybe can start to count you out more when your top guy goes down, but we love the challenge. We're really looking forward to it.
And obviously, Drake Ayala wants that challenge as well. He loses on Friday, but then comes back on Sunday and knocks off a top 5 guy at 125 in Devin Schroeder. What does that mean for your team as you guys look at the big picture?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome, and we know how good he is. We've seen him wrestle in the room the last couple months, and we knew his time was coming, maybe not this soon, and he's a fun guy to watch. And you talk about, we got a lot of older guys in this team that can lead, but that's a young guy in the team that leads every day by the way he competes, the way he fights out there. And even in those matches that he's lost, he's out there scrapping, putting points on the board, and he's another guy that's just going to get better and better. So I'm excited to watch his development.
All right, time for us to go short time. So now we're going to put a minute on the clock and fire some rapid-fire questions at you. These are not going to be the easiest. I'll warn you ahead of time. So here we go. Starting short time, better nickname on your own team, Jaden Ironman as the Riddler or Alex Marinelli as the Bull?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think the Bull's probably been around longer, so I'll go with the Bull, but the Riddler, he's always got some funky stuff up his sleeve.
All right, now you just turned 25. How much grief do you take on the team for being the old man?
Oh, I love it. I embrace it wholeheartedly. I love being Grandpa Mike.
Grandpa Mike, I absolutely love it. Which teammate has the best tattoo? Who is it, and what is it?
Best tattoo, that's a tough one. I would say it was Pat Lugo. He graduated a couple of years ago. He's got the arm sleeve now. I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. We got some good tattoos on our team.
All right, toughest one I save for last. If you had to wrestle either Tom Brands or Terry Brands, who are you going to the mat with?
I'm going to the mat with an axe or a hammer or something, because I'm going to be in for a fight if I'm wrestling either one of them. So you don't want to be out there wrestling those guys unless you're ready to go.
Short time is over, and there's no way that you could ever give a better answer. Michael Kemerer, truly appreciated the time. Stay healthy the rest of the way. Good luck the rest of the way to you and the entire Iowa team.
Yep, thanks. Appreciate it.